Businessman helps girl in wheelchair, then realizes she's his daughter. A wealthy businessman in a sleek black suit stops his luxury car when he sees a young black girl struggling in her wheelchair at a busy intersection. Without hesitation, he steps out, dodging honking cars, and helps her cross the road. But what he doesn't realize is that this single act of kindness will shatter his world, dig up a past he buried long ago, and reveal a truth so personal, so painful, that it will leave him speechless on the sidewalk. Please support us by subscribe, like, and share for more, with activating the notification bell. Thank you. She looks up at him and says, "You look like my dad, but he doesn't even know I exist." What happens next will shock you. New York City buzzed with its usual intensity, honking horns, flashing lights, and people in a rush to be somewhere important. James Whitman, a powerful real estate mogul, sat behind the wheel of his black Bentley, barely paying attention to the world around him. He was too busy reviewing contracts and fielding calls through Bluetooth. Just as the light turned green, he noticed the traffic wasn't moving. People were craning their necks and staring at something or someone. That's when he saw her, a young black girl, no older than 10, struggling to push her wheelchair across the street. Her small hands trembled as she tried to navigate the crosswalk. The wheels got stuck in a pothole. No one helped. James's instincts kicked in. Without a second thought, he put the car in park, jumped out, and jogged to her side. Drivers shouted at him. Some clapped, others just watched, but James didn't care. He knelt beside the girl, gently freed the wheel, and helped her across. "Thank you, sir," she said with a shy smile. "You're the first person who helped me today." There was something hauntingly familiar about her face. Her eyes, the way she tilted her head. But James dismissed it. He helped her to the sidewalk, waved goodbye, and returned to his car. But he couldn't drive away. That little girl had awakened something in him, a memory, a mistake, and a love he had once betrayed. Back at his office overlooking Central Park, James couldn't concentrate. The girl's face haunted him. He poured himself a drink and stared at the skyline, but the past came rushing back with the force of a hurricane. 20 years ago, James was a young, broke architect fresh out of college. He fell in love with a woman named Maya Jenkins, a brilliant, confident, and beautiful black woman who dreamed of being a civil rights attorney. Their love burned like wildfire, and for a time, they were inseparable. But James's father, a ruthless businessman, disapproved. "You'll destroy your future over a fantasy," he had warned. And James, desperate for his father's approval and scared of losing his inheritance, broke Maya's heart. He left her with nothing but a letter, apologizing and disappearing from her life without a trace. He never knew she was pregnant. The next morning, James asked his assistant to look into a list of nearby schools and community centers. "I need to find a little girl," he said, trying to sound professional. "She uses a wheelchair. I don't know her name, but she's about 10. His assistant blinked. "Okay, anything else?" James hesitated. "She looks like me." 2 days later, James visited a local library where he was told a young girl in a wheelchair often spent her afternoons reading. As he entered the quiet space, he saw her, curled up in a corner with a stack of books. "Hi," he said gently. She looked up, startled, then smiled. "It's you. The man from the street. Mind if I sit?" She nodded. "What's your name?" he asked. "Alicia," she said. "Alicia Jenkins." His heart stopped. "Jenkins. Do you come here often?" he asked, voice tight. "Yeah. My mom works 2 jobs, so I hang out here after school." James paused. "Your mom's name, is it Maya?" Alicia nodded. "Do you know her?" James could barely breathe. The room spun. He looked at the child again, really looked, and this time he saw it. Her nose, her eyes, her jawline. "Does your mom ever talk about your dad?" he asked, trembling. Alicia's expression changed. She looked down at her lap. "She says he left before I was born, that he didn't even know I exist. But I think about him sometimes. I wonder if he'd like me." James stood abruptly. "Alicia, would you mind if I talk to your mother?" She narrowed her eyes. "Why?" "Because," he said, voice cracking, "I think I might be your father." Maya Jenkins was folding laundry when the knock came. When she opened the door and saw James Whitman standing there, her face turned to stone. "Get off my porch." "Maya, Please, I said get off my porch. I didn't know, he said, his voice desperate. I swear to God, I didn't know about Alicia. If I had, don't say her name, Maya hissed. You don't get to say her name. She stepped outside, closing the door behind her so Alicia wouldn't hear. You left me like I was nothing. You disappeared because your daddy didn't like the color of my skin. I was a coward, James admitted. I know that now, and I regret it every single day. Well, good for you, Maya spat. Now go. I want to be part of her life. I want to make things right. Maya laughed bitterly. You think a decade of absence gets fixed with a hug and a check? No, James whispered. But maybe it can start with a conversation. Weeks passed. James didn't push. He waited. One day, Maya called him. She wants to meet you. Really meet you. James arrived at their modest apartment with trembling hands. Alicia waited on the couch, holding a photo album. They talked for hours. He listened as she told him about her school, her dreams of being a writer, and how she hated when people treated her like she was helpless. He told her about his childhood, about building skyscrapers, and how scared he was of losing someone again. Eventually, Alicia held out a photo of Maya, young and laughing, with James's arm around her. Mom kept this, she said softly, even though she said she hated you. That night, James made a decision. He stepped down from his company's board and started a foundation in Alicia's name for disabled children and single mothers. He bought Maya a new home, but made her the co-owner. He didn't want to give them things. He wanted to build with them. At Alicia's next school event, James sat proudly in the front row beside Maya. He beamed as Alicia read a poem she wrote titled, "The Mun Who Crossed the Street." The last line, "Sometimes the mun who changes your life is the one you didn't even know was looking for you."